let's do an honest assessment. Do we need strength and conditioning? Like, is it necessary? You ever thought about that? Do you need to train harder than other people that you're competing against, other people inside of your event? Or are you good the way you are? Why is it that some people can just show up the day of the race and beat everybody and others really have to train very hard? Okay? So what we're going to do is just attempt to balance the costs. So strength and conditioning is amazing. I think that everybody will agree that, especially in the last 20 years, we've only seen its efficacy go up and its usefulness go up, and the kind of, I guess you can call it, Luddite thinking surrounding strength and conditioning, it being a waste of time and or money and or energy, has kind of faded into the background, because strength and conditioning by all respectable coaches, especially, or not especially, but even inside of the fight game, boxing and kickboxing and this and that, would agree that it is just useful. And so what do we have is that it improves body mechanics. We like to call it muscle memory, but it's like motor unit recruitment. Drop body fat so you can lose weight. You reduce the risk of overuse. Strength and conditioning can help you avoid burnout. You form healthy movement patterns. The day of performance, you have more physical support. You strength and conditioning. Maybe on the other hand, people see it as inefficient, exhaustive, expensive, and injurious. Maybe. I would assume that if you were going to say that it's a waste of time, you'd find credence in some of those, veracity in some of those reasons. Like, it's too expensive. Like, you're paying someone to come out for what? You can just do push-ups and pull-ups. But quality strength and conditioning, like this course, is about efficiency. It's about reducing the risk of something bad happening as much as humanly possible. Injury, being prepared the day of competition and of the event. It promotes specificity of your fight, of your sport, by training within the modality of your sport. You're doing strength and conditioning, so like you can do 100 push-ups a day, but that gets you really good at doing push-ups. So unless you're doing a push-up competition, you'll want to strength and condition. You want to spend that time that you're wasting doing so much strength and conditioning kind of doing other things, like, or excuse me, doing like your push-ups and whatnot. You would spend it strength and conditioning, and so it becomes really efficient. So there has been a really foundational study which supports this, that says regular training might be actually injurious versus specific training, where specificity is the goal. That was found to be inside of MMA, but it applies throughout. So regular training is like, you know, the most regular type of, I hate to say, almost non-creative type of training that you do, which is like if you were to go to the gym and you just do the circuit of machines that they have, but you have an event coming up and you just did that. Studies have found that that's actually deleterious for you, an athlete, as a competitor, versus doing drilling and sports specific strength and conditioning. So it's like, well, maybe you don't train at all, right? Well, everybody's going to train. Drilling is training. And when drilling gets boring, you train. And when you want to improve your drilling, you train. Kind of see strength and conditioning is not just important, but highly necessary, right? That's why we do it. Would you lose if you didn't condition? If you did not participate in strength and conditioning, would you lose your event? It's a good question to ask, right? Well, that's why we find out. That's why we compete. There's no way, right? But we strengthen condition to supply advantages. And that's the only reason we do strength and condition, to build our advantages, right? So the universe is kind of entropic and disordered, and we need to get that down to zero. And that's what we do. We want there to be as little risk of happening, right? So if we're training and, um, all of a sudden you have a new opponent, you're ready because you trained both sides of your body, and you're ready for an opponent that is shorter than you, stronger than you, a different hand. If it's a one-on-one kind of a competition, and you've trained for, you get to the event the day of a long race, and you notice there are more hills than you thought. We've trained, right? Natural disorder and entropy of human error, maybe it's called Murphy's Law, takes hold. We train so that risk is next nothing. Mitigate unknown factors, that those factors have no negative impact on our performance.